let's make some chicken stress balls. I get my stress balls off of Amazon. They come in a tub with a ton of them. They're about 1.5 inches in diameter, so that's what you'll need for this. You're going to need white yarn, yellow yarn for the beak, and then something to use for the eyes. So here, starting in round 1, we are going to make a magic ring, or I prefer to do the chain 2 method. So I'm going to chain 2, and then I'm going to crochet 6 single crochets into the second chain from the hook. Next, you're going to increase in all 6 stitches, so you're going to do 6 increases, leaving you with 12 stitches at the end of the round. The next round, we're going to single crochet and then increase, and we're going to do that 6 times, leaving you with 18 stitches at the end of the round. Next, we're going to do 2 rounds of 18 single crochets, so round 4 and 5 should just be 18 single crochets around the whole rounds. In this next round, we're going to create the wings. So we're going to create wing 1, which will be a front loop only slip stitch. Then you're going to chain 2, and in that same front loop only stitch, you're going to do a half double crochet. Then you're going to do 8 single crochets, and then you're going to make wing 2. So then again, you take the front loop only, do a slip stitch, then you're going to chain 2, and then create a half double crochet using the front loop only stitch. Then you'll finish off the round with 8 more single crochets. The next round is going to be 18 single crochets. So to do this, you're going to need to take the back loop only that's left over from the wings and crochet there. So you're going to do a crochet into the back loop only of wing 1, Then you'll do 8 single crochets. Then you'll crochet into the next back loop only of wing 2, and then do 8 more single crochets. Next, you're going to single crochet and then decrease 6 times, which should leave you with 12 stitches at the end of the round. Now we're going to add the eyes, the beak, and insert the stress ball. So I'm going to add the eyes on first. I like to use buttons for the eyes. I would not recommend using safety eyes because the backs of the safety eyes poke and pop the stress balls, and then the stress balls burst inside of it. So you can use felt eyes too. I like to use buttons just because I think they look cute. So on here you're going to see that I'm going to take a needle threader, put it through the button, and then take some crochet thread and thread it through the buttons, and then using my crochet hook I'm going to add the eyes onto the stress ball. If you're going to use button eyes too and want to see how I do it, you'll notice that I threaded the crochet thread through one eye or one button, and now I'm going to go from the inside of the stress ball, not the outside, so stick it through the bottom hole. You're going to grab the crochet thread and pull it into the center of the stress ball. Then next I'm going to go from outside in and pull the thread out, and then I'm going to thread the second eye with the crochet thread. The crochet thread is too thick to just put through the buttonhole, so that's why I use a needle threader to do this, and they're super cheap. You can get them from any craft show or Amazon or whatever you would like. And then I'm going to pull the crochet thread through the next stitch, and then I'm going to tie off on the inside, tie the two ends of the thread together. The buttons that I use are 9mm. And I like to put them right in this, basically right above the wings, in the round right before you make the wings, and then just put them 1 or 2 stitches in from the wings. I usually just guess with this and kind of see what looks cute, and I can always adjust the eyes if I don't like the placement of them. Now we're going to do the beak, so I'm going to kind of do the same thing. I am going to pull the yarn through right between the eyes, pull it from the inside out. Then I like to make mine about 3 stitches wide, so I'm going to go 3 stitches over and then grab the thread and pull it back through. Sometimes I'll do this 1 time, sometimes I'll do it 2 times. If you want like a thicker, more noticeable beak, you can pull it through another time. And then I'm just going to tie it off in the center. Sometimes if you tie it too tight, the beak isn't as noticeable as you would like. So you can see here, I'm trying to pull it out a little bit, make it a little bit more noticeable, but you can also fix this by just doing 2 layers of the beak. And next we're going to add the stress ball. Like I said before, I get these off of Amazon. It comes in a huge pack of like 60 of them. They're 1.5 inches in diameter. So if you can get anything similar, that should work. I like using the ones with Orbeez in them because I feel like they last longer than the other ones. And I'm just gonna, I want to make sure that thick seal is not the part that's coming out the bottom. So I like to put that on the top of the the top of the chicken. So I'm going to shove that end in first, and I basically just stuff it in there. It will be a tight squeeze, so you are going to have to squish it in there to get it to stay. If your chicken ends up being bigger than the stress ball, you can first insert a little bit of stuffing and then put the stress ball in, and that should help keep it sturdy in there and fill up some of that extra space. And so now we're going to move on and continue crocheting the body. For the last round, we are going to do 6 decreases. So I'm just going to decrease 6 times. I try and make it as tight as possible, but it's hard to work around the stress ball sometimes. But if you leave it too loose, then there's holes at the bottom of it. If you've probably noticed by now, I use an invisible decrease, which means I only grab the front loops of the 2 stitches and pull it through. And you are going to have a little opening left over at the bottom. That's where the stress ball is going to squeeze out. So I will do my 6 decreases, and then we're going to do a slip stitch to finish off the round. And I'm going to take the tail end of the yarn that's left over, and I'm just going to pull it into the chicken to hide it. So here I pulled it up to the top, and sometimes this does, with squeezing it, it works its way out the hole in the bottom. So I'm going to do a slip stitch right here, just around the top to secure the end up, so that as we're squeezing it, the yarn doesn't make its way out the bottom hole of the chicken. To do this, you can just pull the yarn through to any part of the top of the chicken and then grab any stitch and slip stitch the tail around that, and it will hold it in place. And now we're done with our chicken. It's super cute. It works up really fast. I made this in, I think, 15 minutes. Yep, 14 minutes and 31 seconds here. They make such great gifts. They're so fun, so unique, and they're also great stocking stuffers. I hope you liked this pattern. If you could like this video, leave me a comment if you loved it. Subscribe to my page for some more stress balls. I currently have a Kirby stress ball and a stress ball blob face out right now. And I have a couple more stress ball patterns on their way. So if you want to see something else, leave me a comment and let me know what you want me to make next.